Hey everyone, Marc Jovani here. Thanks for joining in this live stream. Today we're going to be talking about Momentum, a new program that we are launching. We're going to wait. Hey everyone, Marc Jovani here. Thanks for joining in this live stream. Thanks for
Today
joining.
we're
We're going to be talking about Momentum, a new program that we are launching. We're going to wait. Hey everyone, Marc Jovani here. Thanks for joining in this live stream. Thanks for
Today
joining.
we are,
We're going to be talking about Momentum, a new program that we are launching. Hey everyone, Marc Jovani here. Here we go. The structure of this, this is gonna have sort of like 4 parts. Obviously, we're gonna introduce momentum, as you can see down below here. But also we're gonna have a part where we add value for 2 reasons. One, to thank you for your time here. Hopefully you'll get some value out of this presentation. But also to give a little bit of context for why we've created this new program. All right. Just also so you know, this is a no pitch presentation. This is pure information about the. Obviously, we're letting you know about this new program, Mentorship, that we are launching. But there's not a pitch at the end. There's not a way for you to join. If you want more information, then you can book a call to speak directly with me. And also, part of this presentation, we're going to give a little bit of context of why we've created thing. Now, before we move forward, I wanted to talk about this concept that we use a lot in cinematic composing. It's soundtrack-ready music or media-ready music. And this is for the teaching part of this presentation. That is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the 5 key elements to write to be able to write what we call soundtrack ready music. And what is soundtrack ready music? Well, basically soundtrack ready music is it's just quality music. It's music that you can that you feel proud of, that you can put in a demo reel, so you can find projects or try and find gigs, or just good music that you could use for a soundtrack, for media in general, for video games. It's just good sounding, pro sounding, industry standard sounding music. All right. It's just a definition. Let's move forward. All right, next. So here's a problem that I usually hear when it comes to teaching music. It's like, well, we teach music composition. It's like, well, it takes years to master music. All right, and I just wanted to share with you the journey to 10,000 students. You see, my obsession during these years, and just to explain briefly, I'll explain this a little bit more later, but we started cinematic composing 5 years ago, 2016, almost 6 years ago. We started with 12 students, and a few years later we've got 9,000 students. I've taught before that 5 years at Berkeley, and before that I did my private teaching and all that. So it's not 10,000 students, but just for putting that number up there. And my obsession has always been, how can I give you the fastest result, sort of thing? How can I make them learn the fastest possible? Because let's face it, at the end of the day, we all have the same amount of time. That's the resource that is the same for all of us. And when trying to serve you at the highest level, the thing that I can do is 2 things. I can try and share with you my knowledge, but also I can try and share that knowledge the most effective way so you make a good use of your time. So I've always been obsessed about that. And just wanted to share with you my experience. But again, I started teaching, little kids play piano lessons. And then I taught most of what I taught it's been piano initially, and then composition and orchestration and syncestration. So or orchestration for sample libraries. That is sort of like my expertise in orchestral music. And so again, I started with little kids piano classes, and then I also did regular classes. I've done online classes. That's what I'm most known for, in small groups, bigger groups. I've done different culture. I've taught in universities in Japan. I've taught here in the US, Spain, many different groups and cultures. We've produced courses from other people for cinematic composing, and I've been sort of like conducting those courses. We've brought teachers and masters and like composers, mixing engineers, orchestrators from Hollywood that are working in big budget movies. We brought them to teach. Usually when I've got the freedom to do that is been in cinematic composing. We've also gone to their studios. See, we put the when we've done that is for their convenience. We go there with the cameras and the TV and the everything to stream from their studio to cinematic composing. So we've done it all. I'm not trying to promote or anything, just trying to explain the experience, what we've done and what we've learned. So I'll go quickly, but interviews, if you recognize these composers, David Berkeley, Blake Neely, Christopher Young, Spiderman, and Conrad Poe, the orchestrator for John Williams, many high-profile composers, orchestrators, mixing engineers. This is a fun one. We are doing this one on February, where we are bringing 22 of them. Anyway, we have learned a lot over this journey to 10,000 students, and we've tested everything. And so here's what we've learned that you'll see there. The only two metrics that matters, the thing that brings them up the most. We're going to talk about focus here. We're going to spend a few minutes in this slide. So buckle up. And so here's what we've learned. And again, our obsession is to most likely you've heard me say this. We're here to give the highest value, to serve our students at the highest possible level. But what does this mean really? It's like, oh yeah, okay, right. What does this mean? And basically what the meaning of that is, again, the fastest possible result, the most effective possible teaching, because at the end of the day, there is no way to grow from 0 to 10,000 students if you are not giving something of value. And I think the growth started specifically when we started focusing on how can we make this better? How can we give them a higher value? And so focusing, the way we've measured this is, okay, success. And success for us is one or two things. Either it is taking someone from not knowing how to compose music to being able to produce soundtrack-ready music or media-ready music that sounds good from zero to, after a period of time, I'm able to compose music, or taking someone from they already know how to compose music to the next level, to the next. That is what for us means success, all right? And measuring how fast we can get there, we've found that the two things that make this move faster is two things. First is completion time, meaning a percentage of the course completed. So if, for example, we've got a course with 100 topics, 100 videos, and the person enrolls to the course and watches 5 videos, that's a 5% of the course. That's a very low completion rate. And that's what we are trying to fight. And we put together different strategies to motivate you, accountability and things like this, to push you through your uncomfort so you keep progressing and learning. And we structure the course in a specific way so you move forward and you complete you farther complete the course. Ideally, the entirety of the course. We understand, we are busy, people are busy, and sometimes you start something and you have to stop. So we never get 100% completion, right? So that is the first thing. The second thing is practice. That is the second thing. Practice is what makes the difference. If you, even if you enroll to a course and you put the commitment and you do all the course, and if you don't do anything about it, it's almost like if you didn't even do the course, right? It's like if you didn't even enroll to the course. Because here's the truth. Music is practice and you learn by practicing. That's it. End of the story, right? When you say music takes years to master, yes, exactly. It takes years to master. And that mastery comes from practice. So again, the two metrics, I'm going back to the slide, two metrics are percentage completed and practice, right? And what we have found that brings those two up the most are mentorship. Because here's the thing, there's this thing, focus, right? We all want to focus. on things. Excuse me. We all want to focus on things, and we all want to do things, and we all have some sort of goal or things that we want to do in life or want to learn. It's sometimes are not grand goals, but when you have one of these ideas, I want to learn music, when I want to learn to play piano, I want you do, and then you're like, okay, if I want to learn composition, I have to do this, and then you sit down to do this, and sometimes you know what you have to do, but you still don't do it. Why? Why do we sabotage ourselves? And it's basically, and this is another conversation. We are not going to go into this. I've done other videos regarding this. But basically, sometimes we want to do things and we don't do them. Usually, basically, it's because sometimes it is a little bit painful or a lot painful. And our brain just wants to protect ourselves and move, and makes us move away from pain. Before confronting pain, you're like, I'm going to procrastinate a little bit instead. And we do those things, right? And so when learning music or when progressing from this level to the next level, or when even, no matter if it's a hobby or because you are doing it because you're pursuing a career as a composer, sometimes we don't do the things that we said we would do. And so the thing that helps to that is, and it's your fault and not. We all are guilty. But if we cinematic composing, if we are responsible for the success of our students, we are the 100% responsible. Part of the responsibility is yours. But if we can do something, the most effective thing that we can do is have some sort of mentorship. I'll repeat this. If we put responsibility, it's your responsibility, but part of the responsibility is ours. If we take part of the responsibility, the best thing that we have learned that we can do so you move forward and so you achieve your goals. So if we can help in any way, it's having a mentor or a group of mentors or coaches or teachers that support you along the way and give you accountability to keep moving forward. In other words, someone who can kick your ass when you need it to be kicked. Sometimes we need that. All right, so going back to the slide, I said that it would take a few minutes. And so how do we measure that success? I said that earlier. It's either from zero to soundtrack ready music, or next level. All right. And so what we have put together over these 5, 6, 10 years, me teaching personally music, what I found is this system that is basically 6 elements plus 6 songs plus 6 months. I don't like the 666 number for obvious reasons. So it's the 5 plus 1 element. So basically the 5 elements that we were talking earlier to get you from zero to soundtrack ready music. I'm gonna share those with you in a second. And plus the mentors, this is the 1. So this is the 5 elements I'm gonna share with you in a second, plus the mentor. 6 tracks in the 6 specific styles and 6 months to take you from nothing to a soundtrack ready, or to take you from where you are to the next and the next level and beyond. All right, so that's it. All right, cool. So what we did in the past is we've proved this. We've out of the 10,000 students, we've got different groups. We've proved this in the past. We had a class where we put this to test, and it was 1 month instead of 6 months. I loved it. I like it. I like, to get things done, compress time and get things done as quick as possible and give results to them. But some people found it a little bit stressful. At some point, I stressed out a little bit as well. So now we're giving a little bit more of time. So meaning we've proved this concept. Let's move on. All right. Super quick, before we move on, I introduced the concept of soundtrack ready music, and we also talked about mastering takes years. Let's define mastering just for a second and understanding. Mastering music takes, mastering not like mixing and mastering, I'm talking about mastering the skill of music composition. It takes years. Yes, mastering the skill takes years. We are talking sort of like in Stravinsky level, or name of any composer that you admire type of mastering level. Yes, mastering the art of music composition or playing the piano or violin takes years. There's no argument about that. Now, I'm not gonna say it's easy or that's lesser, but getting to that soundtrack ready, meaning being able to compose music that you could use for a soundtrack. I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's not easy. but it can be done in a way shorter amount of time. It can definitely be done 100% in less than a year. It can be done in 6 months. It can be done in 1 month. We've had the students that they didn't even play the piano and they are composing orchestral music in less than a month and working on projects. Obviously, you will improve over the years. But getting to that point where you start enjoying and feeling happiness for playing or composing that type of music and feeling that reward that's gonna hook you to keep growing and learning and mastering, that does not take as much time, okay? So just sharing the idea of mastering versus what we call soundtrack ready, which again, hey, high quality music, but it's not what you're gonna reach at the end of your composing career 20 years down the road, which you're gonna get there, but you have to enjoy the process first. All right, let's move forward. Okay. So, all right. So, what is cinematic composing about? So, I wanted to share with you we're gonna go small here. I wanted to share with you why we do what we do, okay? And let's talk about the concept of follow your passion versus take your passion with you, all right? And so for you to understand that, I wanted to briefly share my story, okay? This is, I know we still haven't gotten to the bulk of I'll share, we're just 5 slides away. We still haven't gotten to the bulk, to the teaching part of but bear with me. This is super important. This took me years for me to figure out, and it changed my life. It was hard, very hard, but it was a step that I had to take as a composer to truly develop myself as a composer. All right. So I wanted to share the concept of follow your passion versus take your passion with you, and I wanted to explain my story very quickly. It starts in 2008. I was a student. That was my last year as a student. I was my last year of my composition masters. I was in Spain. The last year in the conservatory, and in Spain it takes 15 years to do like the composing conservatory. I think it's 4 plus 6 plus 5. Elementary, medium, and it's just like anyway. It's a lot of time. All right, so 2008, it's my last year. I think I was 20. If you're doing the math, it's like, how come this guy was finishing at 20? I did a few years couple of years. Anyway, in 1 year. The last year, and my teacher, whom I respected very much, tells me, I think you will do well in this film music world. And I liked it. The idea is like, oh, wow, yes, that is what I want to pursue. And so he told me there is this college, this university. It's in California, the University of Southern California. You should study film music, film scoring there. And I was like, cool, this is awesome. That is fantastic. I told my parents, and then we found out that the cost of tuition was $52,000. And so that wasn't as fun. So anyway, I worked very hard, and I submitted my application for different scholarships. I finally got on a scholarship that would pay for the tuition, just to realize that my application to the USC, to the university, was rejected. And so I got the scholarship, but I got rejected to USC. And so I almost lost the scholarship. I was able to maintain that scholarship for 1 more year while I applied again. During that spur year, so it was painful, the rejection, but it brought many good things. Every rejection, every pain brings growth, in my opinion. So that year that I had, what I decided is to enroll to a few Berkeley online courses. I paid for the first one, and then I got a scholarship for the second, and it was orchestration, composition, film music, something like this. I took a few courses, and I learned a lot, and I loved that. That was a great time that year, and then that second time that I applied to USC, I did get accepted, and then when the time arrived, I moved to the US, and here's what I found. When I was studying composition in Spain 2008, that last year, I felt good. Everything was, I was in a role in a way. It was the last year. I felt like I could compose good music. My classmates, liked the music that I composed, and back then they were all using Finale. I was already using sample libraries, so their MIDI sounds compared to my sample libraries. My music was not just good music, but also sounded way better than theirs, and that every time that I felt good in that class, and everyone loved my music. When I moved to the US, everything changed. Just take into consideration that USC, it's a program that cost $52,000, and still 600 people, something like this, I think, applied that year, and they selected 20. So there was a group of very talented young composers, and I was there. My first experience in my first class at USC was me getting late. I was there alone, barely knowing how to drive a car in the US, barely knowing how to use Google Maps. I got late, I got lost, and I arrived late to my first class. That's how bad I started everything. And then the competition and the level of skill of each student was so elevated that I felt like, oh my gosh, these guys are so good at every level: orchestration, conducting, composition, syncastration, orchestration, everything. And there was a real competition, and to me, all of a sudden it was like, oh wow. In comparison, it felt jarring. And so the first part of that year, it was me competing with them. But all that uncomfort and pain and competition made me grow again, and made me grow into the realization that we are not here to see who's the best composer, who's the best in this class. Rather, we are here, especially those who came from a different country, that we just have, after USC, after college, you have 1 year to prove that you are useful. So you have 1 year to work legally, and then you have to get a visa. So I figured, wait a minute, what I have to do instead of compete with them, I have to find my first project. And that is what I focused on for the next months. And so what I did is, I did my work at USC, and that was great because it allowed me to, I think the best thing at USC is that you get to write music, like 6 or 7 songs, tracks, cues that you can then use as your demo reel. So that was very important. That was great. And that actually opened me a lot of doors. So while I was doing my assignments and everything so I could build up my demo reel, I started looking for projects. And that's what I did. And before finishing USC, I got my first movie. That movie that I got with that production company, I did 7 more movies with that production company, feature film movies. I got paid for those movies, and I collected royalties that I still collect these days. A big bulk of my royalties come from those 7 initial movies that I did for TV with international releases that bring a lot of cash yearly, year after year. But that was, again, because I have to go through a moment of pain and growth, and I did all these things. Anyway, even though I got these movies and I got these credits, and that was fantastic for my visa. I got I had all the evidence that I needed for my visa, just to find out that I didn't have enough money to pay for my lawyer. So I had to go back to Spain. That was one of the most painful parts of my life. I had to go back to Spain. When I moved to the US, is to pursue my career as a film composer. I went back to Spain, and that's where 3 things happened. First, at some point I got married, but I started teaching as a teacher, piano lessons in a private school. And then I also remember those Berkeley courses that I took. Well, my teacher, Ben Newhouse, which I'm always grateful for, he saw something in me, and he told me, you know what? I need someone to help me teach some of my classes, and I need help with the orchestration and composition class. Would you like to join? And I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, of course I want. I was scared. And he was like, you are going to be, first, the youngest teacher that we've ever had, and second, the first teachers that we've ever had that has not taught at Berkeley, Boston. Usually the way it did work in the past, like you would teach at Berkeley, Boston, and then you would teach online because they knew you. But it's like, don't worry, I'll introduce you. Everything's gonna be fine. I was 22 or 23, something like this. I was shit scared. I was very scared. I'm teaching Berkeley students, right? And I didn't know what to expect. Anyway, the first day was super scary again. Pain or growth at the end of the day. And I've been teaching at Berkeley, and there I learned for the first time to teach online. It was amazing. It was great. I taught at Berkeley for 5 years. All right? And and the teaching at the private school and teaching at Berkeley, my wife and I were able to save some money to, one, pay for lawyers to process our visa, and two, to move to the US in 2016. We moved to the US just to find that. And I think we came here with $10,000 or $12,000, which to us was a lot of money. But we realized that the life in Los Angeles in 2016 was way more expensive than 2010. So soon after, we ran out of money. And so I had this idea of a course, and to present, I thought, I'm going to create this course on syncastration. I'm going to present it to Berkeley. I'm going to sell it to Berkeley. But they were interested, and they were in developing courses. Anyway, long story short, Ali had the idea to say, hey, let's just launch it out there and let's see what happens. And so that's what we did. And that was the beginning of cinematic composing. We put the course there. That was November 2016. We enrolled 12 students, and a few years later, here we are with almost 10,000 students. And so what all this teaches is two things. And here's the end of the story. And here's what I learned. First, growth is, you have to go through a little bit of pain to grow. That is the first thing. And the second thing is, think about this, because it's usually we went from 12 to 10,000. That is a lot. That is a lot. People are like, oh, wow, that's a lot of growth. But think about this for 1 second. When I moved to the US, I moved here to pursue my career as a film composer. And hey, I still do movies. I do movies. And I'm so grateful. And I enjoy so much working on movies. And I appreciate so much the opportunity that I've got to compose and do music for movies. I appreciate the opportunity that the directors and producers are giving me. And I am forever thankful. I love it. I love it. But I also have cinematic composing. So at some point, I had to decide. Because at the beginning, cinematic composing was like, well, 12 students, I can do this. I can do this on the side while I keep pursuing my career as a film composer. This is gonna pay the bills initially, so I can grow here. At some point, though, I had to decide, and that is not easy. From 2008 till 2017, 18, 19, my 10 years, my sole focus has been, grow as a composer, to build a career as a composer. At some point, I had to decide that maybe I'm not chasing a dream. Maybe I can take this dream with me and make it work for me instead. Maybe I still can enjoy compose music. I can be happy composing music for the type of projects that I love and for the type of things that I'm trying to build. And so now I compose music for the projects that I love working, for the people that I love working with. And also I compose music for my students to show how to compose and for the type of things that I want to compose. And this is something that I think, let me see if I can share the screen here. And this I think is something that's very important for you to understand and acknowledge, that there is this difference. There is the opportunity, because sometimes we are too serious about music, and if it doesn't work out, we try so hard that we end broke. And there are other ways. You can get there if you want, but try to enjoy the process, because if you want to do this a lasting thing, You have to enjoy the process. Of course, you have to confront pain many times to grow. But if it has to be consistent, you have to enjoy it. And you can get broke. Otherwise, you at some point you're like just gonna, you know what, this dream of mine that is the only thing that it was, a dream, and then you're gonna give up. Okay, so don't. And this is a philosophy of ours. We teach here people who are pursuing their dream, that are following their passion, and we also teach here to people who take their passion with them. And there's two different modalities. Both are perfectly fine, and we encourage both. Let's keep moving. All right. This is just a slide of me kind of like summarizing some of the points that but this is just Marc's story, from nothing to composing music for feature films. You can do it as well. And basically the 4 points: invest in yourself, surround yourself with people that are going in the same direction, practice, and all this creates flow, and flow, and everything flows when you gain momentum. Anyway, let's keep going. All right. So in a little bit, I'm going to introduce momentum. Where am I? Here. Yep. In a little bit, I'm going to introduce momentum at the end of this presentation. Now comes the teaching side of things. This first part's been a little bit of teaching as well, but it's more like ideas kind of thing. Now we're gonna talk a little bit more about specifics. But at the end, I'm going to introduce momentum. I'm just wanted to say that momentum is, for most of you, 99% of the people in this room, most likely, momentum is not the right option for you. And because of that, my commitment is that if nothing else, I'll make you a better composer. What I'm about to share is awesome, and you can get. It's gonna be awesome. If you apply it, it's gonna change. It's gonna change everything for you. So my commitment is, if nothing else, I'll make you a better composer. And so I'll make the most out of this hour together. And the only thing that I ask for you, for your commitment, is to be open-minded, because this can change the course of your life or your composing career. All right. Okay. Quick recap. Because this is connected to what I'm going to share later on. But look at these numbers. So November 2016, 12 students, 17, 200, 18, 600. 1700, 3800, and 8. This is the number of students that we have right now. So see that growth in the last 2 years. Like, if you put this in perspective, the first 1, 2, 3, 4 years, 1700, we've multiplied by 4 the number of students just in 2 years. Or in other words, or the last year, that 2021, we doubled the amount of students that we had last year. That is crazy growth just in 1 year. I don't know if it's a lot but in comparison of the other years, it is a lot. And I wanted to put this in context. I wanted to explain you why this growth. The first years, the type of courses that we offered were smaller groups. With a coach, and more accountability, and there was a little bit more of one-on-one. Then COVID got here, and then we tried to lower the prices. And so what we found, a way to lower the prices, is to get rid of the accountability, get rid of the coaches, get rid of the assignment revisions, and give people access to the content. And our community responded. It was great. They loved it, and you can see the numbers. We had lots of enrollments. It was different approach. It was more like do it at your own pace. Here's the content, self-contained course. Go ahead and do your thing, right? And we've created ways to support big numbers of people. But obviously, we cannot offer the one-on-one support. Because think about this, we were able to lower the prices, but we had to adjust everything, right? We had to make everything more optimized, because when you sell a course at $47 or $97, $200, the margin that you've got is little. Our mission here is to serve everyone at the highest level we can, right? But in these courses, you can't possibly offer one-on-one support, because it's at the end of the day, it's a company. You have to pay those teachers, or the company has to pay to those teachers, to those coaches, and there's no way. There's just no way. But we figured out other ways to do it in groups and things like this, but it wasn't the same type of support. Hopefully this makes sense. And so, let's keep moving. And so, here's though what in comparison, when we compare the first years to the later years, what we've found is that the level of success for the students of the first years in percentage has been way higher than in the later years. Yes, we have given access to a lot of people, but the level of success, and we've defined success earlier, right? Level of success is getting you from zero to soundtrack ready music, or from where you are to the next level and beyond. The level of success of the first years has been higher in percentage than the level of success. Look at the background curtain that I've got in that photo. I just got rid of that curtain and I'm gonna miss it. But we just moved to a house, and that was the curtain that was here. Anyway, let's keep moving. I just wanted to explain this model. Cinematic composing story. What we've learned. This is what we've learned. I've put together this cool graph. Maria Jose has done this for me. We found that the smaller the group, the more tangible results we get. And with tangible results, again, we mean composers who started having a full-time career or things like this in as little as 1 year. Why? This combination of 4 elements. See up there, the first circle? Mentor ignites direction and injects the strength to move. Right? So having a mentor that basically kicks your ass and gets you moving. That's what this means. And the second thing, if you move, if you follow the arrow, is this generates a small success that initiates movement and confidence, and that in a small setting. So if you are in a small group of people, that connection of people will maintains momentum, if that makes sense. I'm trying to explain this. And then if on top of that you add accountability of some sort, keeps you on track and pushes you to the next level. That's what we found. It's quite logical, right? So I'm not going to spend too much time. But that's what we've found that that creates more success. And what I've tried to explain in this slide is that the first circle connects to the next circle and to the next circle, and that is what helps you go from one level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, right? So, and that is where, in these small types of groups is where students like Matthew Fisher, who's been working in projects like these that you see below, or Nathalie, or Medhat, or any of the composers who are working professionally, they're doing working full-time as composers. These people come from groups like this. Now, serious camera, confession moment. It's obviously it is not our it's not just because of us that they got there. It is their commitment. It's like these are really committed people. They came here at some point in their career. They learned from us, but they've kept pushing, and they're very committed, and their success is their responsibility. All right, but we have found that these type of people come from or have gone through these type of smaller groups, that type of smaller one-on-one programs. That's just all that I'm saying. All right, cool. So we in all these years we've perfected how to learn orchestral music fast and take your music to the next level. And in the next part of the class, I'll show you the lessons. So the lessons that I've learned, what are those? I'm talking about those 5 elements. So those 5 elements, and I wanted to show them to you so you don't have to go through the same pain that I went to, so you don't have to enroll 10,000 students to learn what are the most effective things to compose music. All right, let's keep moving. Next, all right, so these are the 5 elements. I'm gonna present them real quick, and then we're gonna talk about them quickly. But real quick, it's the 5, and we're going to talk about the 5 musical forces. We're going to talk about the cliches. We're going to talk about the template. We're going to talk about the 3 egos, and then we're going to talk about the element of practice, and then the last element, which is the mentor. Okay, going back now. Before see that I didn't include anything here, I'm going to explain it as efficiently, but also as fast as possible. And and I'll explain. For some of you, this is new. For some of you, you've heard some of them. Here's the thing, and I'll explain this later. This can be explained at different levels. it's the same. It is going always to be the same concept. It's how much commitment you put that's gonna make the difference, and I'll explain this later. But here we go. The 5 layers system. All right, let's focus on 3. Okay, I think I posted a video yesterday talking about this, and I've posted a video a while ago. You can find it. But the 5-layer system. All right, so the 5-layer system, or the 5 musical forces, as I call it. Let's focus on 3. This is just a way of looking at music that it's going to make it so much more easy for you to understand, or to get started with music, or to check that you've got all the elements that you need for that specific section of that specific piece. All right. So there are 5 musical forces. Let's focus on 3. The main 3 are direction, movement, and background. Okay, so the first one is direction. Direction, musically speaking, is anything that takes us from point A to point B. It's anything that moves us from this place musically to this other place. Think emotion. Okay, it can be a melody. It can be also harmony, something that goes from something more open to something more dissonant. It can be a crescendo. It can be a glissando. It's something. It can be short. It can be long. But it's something that musically moves us from point A to point B. All right, that is direction, and it can be musically. It can be anything as long as it moves us emotionally from one point to another. Okay, second thing. Movement. Movement is the motor, is what moves the music forward. Okay, it can be a pulse, it can be an ostinato, it can be a progressive beat. Think intensity. Okay, it's anything. It can be harmonic changes from one chord to another that is just creating musical movement that moves the music forward. All right, and finally is background. Background is that thing that is not that obvious, but it's there and it's complementing musically whatever. Background is the subconscious part of the music, and this is where composers have a lot of fun. It's a very important component. We don't always need the 3 of them. There are a couple more. You can read them down here, but these are the most important 3. Okay, the 5 musical forces. Why do I explain this? Is this breakthrough? No, this is just a way to simplify music when explaining music, and it works for beginners, but also for advanced composers, because it simplifies the way. It's great, it's awesome. It's, when you are composing music for a scene, this also helps you, because when you are composing music for movies, media, video, in general, it's speaking the emotions. You are speaking the language of emotions. That's what you are doing, and you are doing it in a background position. You're doing this below dialogue, behind the scene. You're doing behind the image, and you're speaking subconsciously. You're speaking emotions, language in a subconscious level. That's what you are doing, right? So when you identify these 3 elements, like, okay, this is movement. This is what moves the music forward. This is what creates intensity. What do we need in this scene? Well, we need intensity. Intensity first, and then a little bit of emotion. Cool, awesome. We're gonna need this. I'm gonna need the pull. I'm gonna need the movement, and I need the direction. A little bit of direction, just 20%, but 80% of it is gonna be movement, because I need. This scene is more, it's more romantic. I need more positive emotions, type of feeling. It's emotion what I need, so I'm gonna have more of the direction, a little bit of pulse there, a little bit of movement, because I need to move. Whatever, right? It just simplifies. And instead of when you are approaching the scene with what chord should I use? Fuck what chord, sorry. It doesn't really matter. Just this helps. This is awesome. Just use it, or at least use it to check to see if your music is completed. You can move to the next section, and also can. Just a word of caution: you don't need to use the 5 elements at the same time. Sometimes you can use 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, 4, 5 of them. Like the typical Hollywood John Williams, busy texture. The 5 of them, right, with all the runs and all these things. But sometimes you just need 1. Sometimes you just need that 1 direction element, maybe just that melody. It starts here. It's very simple. Just violin is 1, and it's there. It's fantastic. Cool. Awesome. Great. You're done. Sometimes you just need that. Okay, cool. Let's move. Let's move forward. All right. Oh, sorry. These I have to go. Where am I? No, here. There you go. Let's make this big. Second thing, the cliches. Cliches. Marc, really cliches? Are we going to talk about film music cliches? Yes, we're going to talk about film music cliches. The cliches is that thing that you have to learn at the beginning, and then you don't have to learn it anymore. But it's sort of like the stepping stone. It's sort of like the, learn the cliches. Learn how to create an action cue, or how to compose music that sounds like action, or music that sounds like tension, or music that sounds like suspense, or magic, or fantasy, or these things. There's a specific way that you combine harmony. There are specific ways that you combine harmony and orchestration and the type of melodies and the type of rhythms that creates that standard type of sound, right? Why do we want to do that? First, for two things. I'm gonna start with the fun one. The first one is you're gonna enjoy yourself. If you are trying to recreate that sound and you don't know how to do it, you're gonna struggle hard. And it is painful. You don't want to go through that. Just learn the rules, apply the rules, and already it's going to sound like that. Careful. Now you're going to sound like everyone else, and you don't want to sound like everyone else. I'll get there in a second. But you're gonna be like, oh, my music sounds like name of the movie that you love most. Okay? That is great. So that's great. On the other hand, if you are working professionally and you're like, no, I'm not gonna learn cliches because I'm so much more sophisticated, and my music is my voice, and I wanna have a unique voice. Okay, that is great. The people who hire you, are paying you for your music to sound the way they expect it should sound, and they're gonna temp their movie or their video game with music to check. When they are cutting the scene, they're gonna temp it with music. Your music, as bad as it sounds, meaning as bad as your music should sound. You may not like this content, but your music should sound similar to what they tempt with, and that is this is another discussion. This kills creativity. Blah 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 blah. I would prefer for them not to tempt, etc. Okay, cool. But initially, they're gonna hire you so you can do the job, so you can provide them with the music that they need. They are gonna love you though, for your music to work based on their expectations, but still be unique, be you. And that is the next step. But you have to learn the cliches first. Learn the cliches so they hire you to, because you have the chops, you know how to do it, and then sprinkle, spice the knowledge of how to compose in that specific cliche with your own thing, so you create your own sound, that you are that unique composer. But first, learn the cliches, because you're gonna move faster. You're at somebody, if you work professionally, you're gonna have to write those 2 minutes of music or 5 minutes of music sometimes, but those 2 minutes of music a day, right? You need to know how to create that, and then adding on top of that your own thing, so it sounds like you. Okay, so those are the cliches. And I recommend learning the 6 basic cliches. There are many, but there are 22, and then there are others, but there are 6 basics, and then from these 6 basics you can go to 21, and then every other iteration and combination of styles. And when I say cliches, I'm talking again action, intensity, suspense, love, sadness, all these things. Okay, magic, fantasy, supernatural grandeur, all these things. Cool. Let's continue. The next thing is the template. That should be easy. But there's a lot to talk about here. I'm gonna keep it short and simple and sweet. Template. Have a group of tracks that you can load in your computer, so you can sit down, put your hands on the keyboard, and start composing. All right. So you don't have to load the same things over and over again. Now, this is the kind of like the obvious question, the obvious explanation. Many composers don't have a template. That's perfectly fine. You may decide not to have them. Those composers who don't have a template usually have a micro template. And this is where I wanted to get. You don't need a 1,000 tracks template. You don't need that. What you need is a system that allows you to work fast, that gives you what you need, so you can sit down and start composing music. It can be as simple as just 16 tracks. I've demonstrated this in this channel many times. At the end of this class, just Google the video. I think it's 4 gigs of RAM, 16 tracks, template, trailer track, Marc Jovani, cinematic composing. YouTube will show the video to you. But basically, you can do a lot with just 16 tracks, or with 8 tracks. You can do a lot. So have something that allows you to compose fast and to get your ideas from here to your computer, and it's ready and it sounds good, and you don't have to do a lot of tweaking of EQ or panning or reverb. It's already there. It's gonna take a little bit of time the first time to set it up, or as what I recommend is start with something simple and then evolve as you go. And that's the best way of doing it, because you don't know now what you're gonna need. You will know what you'll need as you are composing and you're creating your own voice. Your own voice is going to dictate how your template is, and that template is going to reinforce how you sound. Make sense? All right, let's keep moving. Now, next, the template. The three egos. Okay, so when you are done with, see these three things? This is awesome. You know the 5 layers or the 5 forces, and then you sort of have like a cheat sheet where you've got the styles. Learn the styles. The way to learn the styles is I've showed some of them here in this channel, and our courses usually start with the styles. But if you don't have access to our courses or you don't want to take our courses, just by ear, just analyze and score for a specific style. If you want that adventure hero type of thing, maybe you can analyze a Captain America, just analyze and deconstruct everything and say, okay, harmonically these are the type of chords. Melodically, these are the type of melodies, and this is the type of rhythms. This is the tempo usually they use, and this is the type of orchestration and the structure of that for every style. And then you have that. At the end of the day, what's music? Music is studying the masters and growing from their teachings. And the only way to grow from the teachings is analyzing their music. That's all there is to it. That's basically it. And music is copying and improving. Yes, you are copying and then you're improving. Every composer learns from the other. Anyway, let's continue. Otherwise, this is too long. Now, so what I was saying, you've got these 3 things. This is awesome. You've got the layers, so you know how to structure your music in terms of layers. You know how to combine different elements, harmony, melody, to create that type of sonic those styles. And then you have a tool that allows you to take your ideas from here to there. So basically, it's at this point, I'm not gonna say, but it's almost copy paste. It's not copy paste, but we've simplified the process a lot, and allows you to work way faster. But when you sit down to compose, you're confronting your demons, and you're gonna start having writer's block, and you're gonna have this has to be a masterpiece syndrome, and all these things, right? Why do we write the music that we write is what the 3 egos theory from Marc Jovani. So if you've got any problem, comment on below, and we're gonna have a conversation. But this is my theory. So the 3 egos, basically, what I like to explain this. There are 3 egos. There is the internal ego, the external ego, and the bigger ego. I know I have to find a better name for this. You'll see when I explain. But basically, there are 3 egos that dictate why we compose the music that we compose. So when you sit down to compose, you are like, okay, I'm going to compose. And you're going to focus on something. Stop for a moment. Composition is basically, it's taking a series of, composition is taking thousands, composition is, you are taking thousands of decisions. That's what you are doing. Should I use this? Should I start with this note or this other? What's the next note? What chord? This chord, this chord, this rhythm is rhythm, this orchestration, this flute. So I've got the strings. I wanna color this. What I'm gonna add an oboe or a flute. All these things are decisions. And there's like, should I position the strings here, a little bit more here, there, no sé qué. All these things, right? No sé qué. Spanish people. Arriba. All right, cool. So and all these decisions, the result of those decisions is the piece that you've composed. If you've taken a series of good decisions, masterpiece. If you've messed up maybe just with one decision, it can ruin the entire piece. That's happened to me. Like a bad decision in the mastering process, it ruins the entire piece. You'll fix it the day after. But that's what it is. Those decisions come from your state and what you focus on. All right, going Tony Robbins here. I'm gonna go back there. So basically, internal ego, external ego. Internal ego, when you focus on that internal ego, meaning I am going to compose the best piece that I've ever composed. This is gonna be awesome, and you'll see. What happens usually that leads to analysis paralysis and to kind of like it has to be a masterpiece syndrome, which leads to it's a complexity, and complexity leads to procrastination. It's going to make things complicated for you. in general. Okay, it's great because it pushes your boundaries and you grow, and it's great. You can use a little bit of that, but just understand what is going on, because sometimes that is what is going on. All right, internal ego, external ego. Yes, you guessed it. Is when you are thinking, I'm gonna compose this piece, and people are gonna love this. I'm gonna impress my composer peers, and it's gonna be awesome. Usually, same problem. You're gonna compose something that. It's gonna lead to, again, it has to be a masterpiece syndrome. And then there's the third ego. When you're focusing on why am I composing the music that I'm composing, right? Then you're gonna get to a different conclusion, right? So what is the result that I'm after? What is the purpose? Why am I doing what I am doing? And usually it's like, okay, I'm composing this piece because this piece is for this specific scene, and this specific scene, here's what's happening. This character is communicating to this character, blah, 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 and I need the audience to feel this way. And because I need that, I'm musically going to do this. And maybe this is way simpler. The way you approach this composition is way simpler. Maybe you just need that violins one melody. That's the only thing that you need. Or maybe you just need, a static open fifth, flautando violas. That's the only thing you need, because you know exactly what this kind of thing produces, right? But it's very simple, and you don't need to overcomplicate things. Or you're like, you know what? I want to show the world what it's possible musically, and I want to inspire the aspiring composers, blah blah blah. And then you're gonna compose a completely different type of music while serving the picture at the highest level. Then you're gonna compose different music. But it's just, before start composing, just decide, and don't go in autopilot, right? Because sometimes your brain's gonna take over and it's gonna make you do things that you don't want to do, or it's gonna mess things up. Okay, let's continue. Okay, going back here. Now, the problem is like, okay, cool, Marc, this is awesome. I love what you just showed me. This is gonna be very helpful. The problem is that it's not the knowledge of this concept that's gonna change everything for you. It's the difference is in the perfecting of these things. It's in the nuances, right? You can compose. You can apply these concepts. You're gonna sound like everyone else. Now, when you start practicing then you're gonna start, again, spicing this with your own things. You're gonna start creating your own voice. So the difference is in the nuances. Now, those nuances, those practices sometimes is painful, and that's what you have to go through to grow as a composer, as a musician. All right. So let's continue. So again, practice makes perfect. And I wanted to show this. I wanted to explain this concept of, you can learn these concepts for free. You can learn these concepts in a $100 course. I'm sure you've bought the, well, anyway, you can learn this in a $1,000 course, in a $10,000 course, and beyond. And then you can learn these concepts in a $50,000 mastermind. You can learn of these things at a different level. What changes usually, it doesn't really matter how much you pay. What changes, what makes difference, is the level of commitment that you put. I'll explain this later. But usually, what makes difference is the level of commitment that you put. How many of you have bought a course that is $7, and then because it was so cheap, then you never even opened that course? That's happened to me. It's like, oh, I'll see an ad on Facebook, and it's like, oh, this is something that I kind of want to improve in my life, or something that I want to learn. I'll buy the course, but I'm busy now. I'm just buying it because it's, a discount offer. And you don't even know where the password is anymore. You don't even remember that you bought that course. And so it's the level of commitment. It doesn't really matter the price. It's the level of commitment that you put to those things that's going to make you move faster. All right? And cool. All right. But still, after those things, and even if you commit, you sometimes will get stuck. And so, what is so we've had those 5 elements. What is the 6th element? We've mentioned there earlier. A mentor. A mentor is what makes the difference. A mentor, or a coach, or a teacher, someone who can provide accountability and who can solve the problems when you get stuck. All right. So this is the end of the teaching. Let's do a quick recap of everything that we have learned. We've talked about the film music cliches. We've talked about, the 5 musical forces. We've talked about the cliches, the template, the 3 egoes, the practice, and the problem that the practice as the thing that connects everything and that elevates everything. The differences in the nuances, and then a mentor. And the mentor is what is going to help you move forward when you are stuck. All right. And that's how you get to where these people got. I'm just saying these people. It's the level of commitment and having mentors. These people seek mentors. They looked for mentors, and not just when they were here at Cinematic Composing and took our courses, but more mentors along the way that can push you forward, can challenge you, as well as giving you accountability and show you what to do when you're stuck, because you're gonna get stuck at some point. All right, cool. All right, that's it. All right, so this is the end of the the first part of this class, this presentation, and I just wanted to share all this with you to give you a little bit of context. But I think we've covered a lot, and I'll explain exactly why the context. But we've shared a lot in just 1 hour, and I just wanted to make sure, just comment on the chat so I can read. But how many you think this is valuable, or how many you agree that if you had like a template that truly works for you, it would enhance, or it would, if this was the first time for you composing, would help you compose, or if you're already composing, if you having a better template can speed up your composing workflow. Just put it here in the comments. Exactly. Yes. And how many of you agree that if you've got a series of cliches that you understand, that this is gonna massively increase how effective you are when you are composing, or that it would eliminate the struggle and the problem when you are trying to to come up with a different sound or style or emotion? How many of you agree that would make it easy for you to compose? Exactly. And how many of you like the 5 layers or the 5 musical forces, and the way how that can help? How many of you find this useful, both when you are composing or when you are trying to for composing music by itself, or when you are trying to compose music for media? How that can help or simplify what you are composing? All right, thanks. Cool, awesome. So, and now this helps. All this helps me connect with the program, and it gives me a little bit of context. And if hey, this is the part where you can continue watching. If you've got some interest about what we are about to launch, even though this is a program that it's not for 99% of you, in my opinion, I guess. But at this point, you can hopefully what I shared with you gives you a direction on if you want to continue composing, continue on the pursuit of learning music composition. Some of these things guides you towards what you've got to learn. So that's one thing. And the second thing is also, the other option is to let me hold your hand and show you all these things that I've been studying over all these years, and so I can give them to you so you can get and learn them faster. All right. So if you'd like to go deeper, you're excited about the possibility that this brings. I want to share with you the shift that we are doing at Cinematic Composing, and this is the shift that I was talking in the earlier videos this week. And I wanted to introduce Momentum. Momentum is a mentorship. It's a 6 months mentorship program. It's directly with me, one-on-one, limited to 20 people, and it's meant for serious composers who want to take their music to the next level. And so here's the program concept. It has 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 6 months, continuous support at all levels, and I'll show this program compared to any of the other programs that we had with lots of coaching and one-on-one. those were mini versions of what we're going to offer here, and that's why we are keeping this just to 20 people. But it's 6 months, continuous support at all levels, and all and you learn, it teaches you music composition, and at the end of the program you've composed a series of tracks that you can use as demo reels to get projects or to share with the world. And the program components are basically the big difference between any other course and this one is that it has all these parts. We'll review your music weekly, the level of support I'll show you in a second, but we've got a tech coach, an implementation coach, and a success coach. Yes, all these full-time people working to make sure that you succeed. Accountability, we have a small circle group, so it's not in the main group. There's not in the main group where we've got 4,000 people. It's a separated group outside of Facebook. We use Circle. It's just 20 of us, that high-level composers that will help you accelerate, and it's this accountability system. In terms of content, we're creating content that's adapted to your needs, and then we're gonna also bring masters, and we're gonna do master classes with top Hollywood and AAA Hollywood composers, mixing engineers, and orchestrators, just to this group. And I'll explain later what this does, but also plus all the basic content. Then this again is limited to 20 people. The type of support that you get is something that is like bigger than anything that we've done before. First we've got weekly Zoom, we've got weekly 2-hour Zoom calls with Marc, with me, and it's always small groups. Then we've got private, again, a small private group of just light cinematic composing students who want to join this Momentum program. And I'll interact with you daily. Plus, you've got 3 coaches. You've got an implementation coach. You've got which is a composer who's done it and will help you each step of the way. You've got a tech coach. And this is one of the most important relations that we've got. This is, again, full-time people helping you. And this is a person who, if you are stuck, it's like, I'm routing the Ensemble Pro to my main DAW, and I don't get the sound come through. This person is gonna jump on a Zoom call with you. It's gonna remotely control your screen if you give them access, and it's gonna fix the problem for you. And this is one of the biggest advantages that we have, because sometimes I'm teaching and they have the knowledge, but it's the technical struggle that is stopping them from moving forward. And that is real, and that is there, and it happens. So here we're gonna have 1 or 2 people, so depending on the amount of support that we need to give, that is gonna literally live and breathe here to make sure that you don't have any technical struggle. All right. And then we've got the coordinator coach that makes sure you are on top, on the right path. So you've got 3 or 4 people just making sure that you move forward, and you've got all the support that you need. On top of that, we've got the motivation part of things, which is we're going to implement weekly challenges to keep you motivated and moving forward. Every week we're going to compose tracks in different styles. You don't have to do music every week, but this keeps motivating. And then we're going to have an accountability system. I'll share with you this later. But then networking. What I found is that big groups are great, but small groups actually encourage more networking. And so among other things, you can interact with the different people in the group in a different way than when you are in a group of 4,000 people. But also, once a month, a master will visit the course and have a chat with you. Only this group has access to that conversation, and the mindset of these masters is that they are going to speak with a small group of you that will help you guys in any way they can. This conversation will open opportunities to collaborate. They can potentially change the direction of your career, and this conversation can change your career, your networks, your friends. Think about. I think I'll explain this later. But the way you interact with these people when you are in a group of 300 people attending this call is very different than the way you can interact with those people when there are just 10 people in that call. It's different. All right. And at the end of the program, you will, if you depending on what are your goals. But if your goal is to pursue your career and then pursue your career as a composer at the end of the program, if you want to pursue your career as a composer, I'll help you the best of my abilities to connect you with people or to point you in the right direction. All right, we will. So that's the other thing is that we'll review your music weekly. Again, you'll get stuck at some point and you'll need help with things, and you'll feel that you don't know how to solve specific problems. So we will review your music and tell you how to get past those roadblocks, how to make music that sounds better, and how to write better music in general. So when you these are the deliverables of the program. First, you're gonna have a custom plan. 1 second. All right. So, give me 1 second. I'll finish it up. You're gonna have a custom plan, one-on-one onboarding. Show here. Custom plan at the beginning of the course. If paid in full, you're gonna have a one-on-one with me and Esteban, and to map out your plan for the 6 months. We'll talk with you. It's like, okay, what are your goals? What do you need? And we'll tell you exactly what to do inside the course. We also give you all the tools to get all the tools required to take your composing career to the next level. And then you have the community as well. There are 8 deliverables. Those are 4. You've got the community, which is a circle community where you can hang out with 20 other elite composers. Or our start students. You've got the coaching again, and we've got the one weekly call on Zoom with me, plus full-time coaches to support you. And then you've got the accountability, quarterly check-ins calls with your success coach to hold you accountable. You've got the support, 24/7 support via the community or email chat calls with your success coach. You've got obviously the content, all previous calls recordings available for viewing in your content portal, plus all the content that this course includes. And then there's the social call. Once a month we have a social call on Zoom where all the members gather on Zoom for a chill discussion and have fun. All right, this is the accountability part of things. To accelerate your results. First, we have an onboarding session to have a crystal clear vision of what you want to achieve. Then you've got a custom-made personalized content just for you. And then we've got challenges to learn through practice. So you've got challenges once a week. Each week we're gonna compose. Again, you don't have to do all the challenges, but that is what, in a fun way, keeps you motivated to keep moving forward. You've got feedback on your music, and then on top of all that, we wrap accountability and a measuring system. We've got a system where you're gonna measuring your success this is gonna enhance accountability. And basically, we're doing all this so you feel that you cannot fail at this. It's just impossible. If you put the work, you cannot fail at this. So who is this for? Well, this is for 2 types of people that we kind of felt that we forgot in these past 2 years, which are first, those who need more one-on-one support, those who need more help, extra support, and more personalized experience. That's one type of people. The other type of people is the achievers and the action takers, those who want fast results, those who don't want to take yet another course. They just want to know the things that work so they can implement them fast, and they want to do it in a guided way from someone who's already done it and that can kind of compress time for them, right? Next. So again, who's this for? Maybe you're a composer who want to make a career out of music or want to improve your skills. Music is your passion, or you're getting back to music after a few years break and you feel a little bit rusty and need all the help that you can get. So that's it. How to join? The way to join, again, okay, here's the deal. This was supposed to be the first presentation of the course. And the way this was going to work is you have a link below. And the way this works is, this is by application only. This is not a sale. Well, even though this feels like we are introducing the course and presenting the course and trying to present it as good as possible. Like, here's all the things that you're going to get inside the course. That is great. But this is not a sale. We're just trying to find a group of 20 people that are committed and that we truly believe that we can help them. So the way this works is there's a call with me, and then there's a link below. you can schedule a call with me. Then there's a quick survey like that serves as an application. We reject some of the applications that we feel that we can't serve, that we can't help. Then there's a conversation with me. Then I take that survey and that conversation with me, and I share with the team. And if we think that you're a good fit and you're happy, we're happy, then we work together, and we are here to support you along the way, and everyone's happy, and that is great. So there's a link below. But we mentioned this on an email on that we would do this video to explain the momentum. And we've got already a lot of people on the waiting list. So there are still a few spots, and this is gonna sound like a scarcity, and this is just pressure. It's the reality, truly. We figured that we would open from today till Tuesday next week, and we would speak with 50 or 100 people, and then that's it, and we would select 20 of them. Well, those people, they already. Anyway, there are still a few spots, but this is how it's going to work. There's a link below. Schedule a time to speak with me, and there's an application. There's people already speaking with me. I started doing this yesterday. Today, after this webinar, I'm gonna be doing a few more calls, and then on Friday and Saturday morning, and then back on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and if we need more spots, we'll open a few more. But that's how it works. All right, how to join this, how to join, and then so here's the thing. Why are we doing this? We are doing this for this is. So what we've created over the past 2 years, is this lower priced course. And again, this has brought great things, and also we've learned things. But for us, what this has brought is a lot of customer support and to try and give them the biggest value. But also it's allowed us to automate a flow of students. That is great. Because when you are doing something like what we are doing now, I need to speak with you, and it takes time. But when we are selling courses at a lower price tag, then that process is automated. You don't need to speak with someone to buy a $100 course or a $400 course. For this type of course, we have to speak. We have to all of us. We have to be happy because it's a serious thing. It's a big commitment, and so that has brought great things. But on the other side, we've also learned that the level of commitment is generally lower. I've personally joined a mastermind recently. It's a very expensive mastermind. And what I've learned there is that the level of support, the level of connections, the people that you meet, the opportunities that you get in that type of environment, it is incredible. Just the opportunity and the connections and the networking, it's incredible. And but I had to commit. To me, the commitment was a lot of money. But what I get from there, it's exponentially bigger than anything that I can get from a cheaper course. When I moved to the US to pursue my career as a film composer, I moved from Spain to another country, to another continent. I left my family 4 years to pursue this career. It was hard, it was expensive, but the people that I found along the way is the people that has enhanced and projected and ignited my career as nothing else. Like some of the people who I met then in 2009, 2010 when I moved here is people who I'm working with them now, like 10, 12 years later. And so it's just a different thing. And so what we are trying to create here is a program that gives that level of connections and access and networking and information that we at the moment we don't have the capacity to offer that level of connection and information and networking and opportunities to the big masses. So we have to start small, and that's what we are doing here. All right. And so sometimes people is like, okay, but what am I gonna learn? You're gonna learn everything that you need. You're gonna learn. Let me just put this list. All right, you're gonna learn everything. You're gonna learn about how to overcome technical hurdles. You're gonna learn how to fill the gaps, the unbalanced gain, moodiness, system crashes, feeling off, overwhelmed, blah blah blah. You're gonna learn everything about orchestration, everything about composition, everything that you. But the truth is that what you're going to learn, a big list that goes below the slide. I just try to put there everything that you're gonna. But the truth is that what you are going to learn is everything that you need to learn because of the level of support that you have. We coach you. We are here working with you. Anything that you need, we're here to support you along the way. People that have experience, we've been doing this for years, and we know exactly how to help. All right. And if we think that we are not going to be able to help, we're not going to be working together. That's why we are having a call first. That's why you are submitting a survey application to make sure that if you are not a good fit for us, if you're not a good fit for you, then we are not working together. All right. So that is it. And why should I join? Join if you want to be part of an elite community of serious composers, grow and become a better composer, wants to fast results and are willing to endure hard times, and be part of a group that inspires you. All right. This is a long presentation. Sometimes I click, the way this is set up, I click to the next slide. I don't even know what's gonna show up. Okay, we've been working hard to prepare this program, not to sell it. We figured that 20 people should not be that hard to gather. Why should I join as well? To start your music composition business, to have your music placed in TV, film, and video games, to license your music. So you can license music, you can do money with your music, or to do something that, and this is the part that I love the most, to do something that you actually enjoy because it brings you happiness, peace, and enjoyment. All right. Again, how to join is down below. There's gonna be a link. Schedule a call with me, application survey, and from there we'll review that application, and if we think that you're a good fit, then we're gonna accept the scheduled call, and then you're gonna have a call with me. What else? Questions. Okay, let's see the questions. I've got the team collecting questions for me. Let's see what questions do we have. All right, these are the questions that they've collected from the chat. Questions. Let's see. I'll do my best to answer all these questions. Okay, questions. How is it different than another composing program? It is so different. It's a holistic approach. It has everything that you need to move forward. It's not like a course where you've got the content, you study the course. It's everything that we offer designed in a way to ensure success. You've got the content, but you also have the coaches that support you at all the levels, at technical level, at making sure that you're following the path. The quarterly. The quarterly follow-ups to make sure that you are, and then you've got the assignment revisions, you've got the accountability system. We've got these 4 legs that ensure that you have everything that you need to move forward and to not fail. And basically, it's just we're doing things one-on-one, personalized for you, and we listen to you, work with you every day. We work with you every day to make sure that you succeed, you don't have any problem. All right, and if you've got any problem, we're there to give you support. And we've got. Luckily, we've grown to a place where we have access not just to resources, but to infrastructure and to people that we didn't have access before. And we put those resources to you, so we can serve to the highest level. That's it. But the only way that we can do this is with a small group of people, and that's why we are putting this program together. It's because this is where I'm putting my heart now, and this is what I've been missing over the past 2 years, and I want to do something like this. And I want to connect with people like this because it brings me joy and happiness. That's what I want to do, and that's what I want for you as well. And I want to know those people by name, and I want to know what they do after this program, and to see them grow as composers and their careers. And that's it. And if I can serve them during 6 months, then I'll feel privileged, and that brings me joy. That's awesome. Plus, I'm in a position at this point where again I have access to resource infrastructure and people that I didn't have access to, and we figured that we put all this together to create something awesome. It's gonna be a before and after for cinematic. This is gonna be freaking awesome. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. Okay, how many days do we have to join this program? I said this earlier. Supposedly we were gonna do this webinar, and then we would open for you to be able to join. But again, we mentioned this on Monday, and most of the spots are filled. We opened this from from Wednesday yesterday till next Wednesday. We'll see. Maybe as soon as we reach 20 people, we'll close. So I don't know when that is going to be. Maybe if we don't, then we'll extend this a little bit more. We'll let you know. At some point, we're gonna close. We're gonna put in that page, that link. You're gonna click that link. You're gonna see, all the spots are filled out, and we'll open when we do a new edition of this class. How many more are there? 6 months. It's a 6 months program. Is there any live classes? Yes, there are live classes. There are plenty of live classes. You're going to have at least one class with me every single week. 2 hours with me, Q&A, very small groups. If I choose to enter the program, do I need to do all the challenges in order to succeed? No. You just need to do at least 6 challenges, which puts you to do 1 Q per month. That's it. At least if you do, I can guarantee you results if you put the time and effort and commitment, and for that to me means doing at least 6 of these challenges. What happens if I don't know anything about music? Can I take the mentorship? If you've watched everything that I explained up until now, yes, you can take the program. We've done this multiple times. We've proved this. Yes, we've literally we had people who taking mini versions of this thing. This is the perfected program that we have been evolving over all these years, iteration after iteration, and this is something like nothing else that we've created up until now. This program, we've tested these versions, mini versions of this, and yes, we've got people who they didn't even know how to play piano. And not after 6 months, after 1 month, they were already composing music that sounded great. And after a few more months, they were working on projects and movies and even winning awards. All right, just looking at I'm recording this, and I don't want this to go out of 34 minutes to go, but I think we're gonna wrap this in 5 minutes. What happens if I don't? No. Regarding the support, can you explain a little bit further? Yes. So first, you're gonna have me every week. Twice, you're gonna have me every week. 2-hour sessions, Q&A. You can ask me anything that you want. If you pay in full, when you join, you have an onboarding call with me and Esteban. Then Esteban is gonna be there all the time. It's gonna do a follow-ups every 2 months or so to make sure that you are in the right path, and he's going to be there as well if you've got questions like what should I do next, here's what I'm struggling with, where can I find this content. He's going to be helping with that as well. Then you're going to have a success coach that makes sure that you are taking the right composing steps for you to get to your right outcome, to your goal. And then you're going to have a tech coach, someone who's going to be there. So if you've got any technical problem, you can email that coach, you can set up a call with them, a Zoom call with them, you can schedule a call, and you can get together with that coach, and it's like, I'm having this technical problem, how do I solve it? And then they are going to live show you exactly how to solve that problem, or try to solve that problem for you. Sometimes it's not as easy as it seems. Sometimes it'll take time, but it's a person who has experience, who solved thousands of technical problems that can help you fix that problem. And sometimes they'll even ask you permission to remotely control your mouse so they can click where they have to click so they can fix the problem for you. Right? So it's like if I had a problem here and I didn't want to solve it, or I didn't know how to solve it, and I had someone else come here solve it for me, but just remotely. Okay, this day, and that's gonna be on Zoom. There's a button where they are gonna ask you to give them permission to control your computer during the length of that Zoom session, and they're gonna fix that for you if you give them permission to do so. But basically, someone there that takes the technical burden out of the way. That's and you've got access to all of us on email, on the group, on the chat, everywhere. All right, cool. That's it. Hopefully, and we're gonna be improving and all this as we go as we learn with you. We just want to give you the best possible support, the best support possible. Will I have access to the membership, or this is Will I have access to the membership, or is this a different program? Same question, different. What is the difference between the membership and the Momentum program? Two completely different things. Membership is you've got access to the content. We've got a series of teachers who do a series of classes. That's it. They have access to some of master classes. That's it. It's different. It's a bigger group. Access to a lot of content. This is here you have access to the right content for you. You've got access to all the content that you need. If you need access to any content you don't have access to, we'll unlock. We'll put that content for you. And then the difference between that and this and Momentum is the level of support, is the one-on-one, is the personalized, is the we work with you to make sure that you make this happen. That is why that's the difference. And how can you guarantee this will work for me? This will work for you if you put the work. If you put the work, I can guarantee this work is going to work for you, because we have done this many times, and it works, and it just works. And of course, and of course, you are unique, and I'm not saying that if it has worked for everyone, it's going to work for you as well. But we're going to work for you. We're going to go work with you, so it works for you as well. What I cannot assure is how long is it going to take. It's going to take from 1 month to 6 months. At some point, it's going to work for you if you put the time and you do the job and you do the things that we tell you to do. But that's it. We know it works because we've proved it many times. All right, this is awesome. Thanks for all the questions. Sorry for such a long class. If you want more information, link below. Schedule a call with me. Let's talk. Check if there's. I think at this point there's not availability for today and tomorrow, the day after. I think the first available spot is it's on Monday or Tuesday. Sorry that this has exploded like this. We are super excited. We will still take your call if we think that you are a good fit. Thanks so much for watching till the end. If you got any further question, post it here. We'll try to answer all the questions that we can. And if you got more personalized questions, again, click the link below, schedule the call, and let's talk. All of that, thanks so much. Awesome audience. Thanks so much. Have a great day. And